Jarrett Skorup, who wishes to speak and supports the bill. If you could in just a minute.
Yep. Thanks for having me. I'm Jarrett Skorup, policy analyst. I'm with the Mackinac Center for Public Policy. So we've been working on this issue for about a decade, in particular the last couple of years. So we support the bill. Michigan is primed to take a historic step today. The largest problem facing our states, cities, and government entities across the country are retiree liabilities, not just at the state, but also the local level. The cost of pensions in Michigan have gone from 12 to 30% of 7% of payroll, as you know, and we're spending more than $1 billion more than 5 years ago. The problem from our perspective is a broader one than kind of the weeds that we're down in, and it's that simply politicians don't properly fund pensions. So a big key driver of this bill is it removes the ability to underfund pensions in the years going forward. So these bills stop the state from promising benefits now, paying for them later, which has been an essential problem of government pension systems. Rep. Kelly brought up the example of pension reform in Pennsylvania. The other example was stories coming out the other day in Illinois, my home state, where my parents are public school teachers, having to deal and worry about that pension liability in a state where they haven't had a budget for 2 years and don't really know what they're going to get in terms of pensions. So we think this bill will make the state do a better job responsible of paying down the current liability and prevent future liabilities going forward, and that's why we support it.
Representative Sowerby.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thanks for your testimony. So why does the Mackinac Policy Center think that weakening a person's retirement benefits will attract more people to become Michigan teachers?
I think Anthony, the last guy, did a good job answering that question. One thing I'd note right now is that half of teachers never vest in the pension system. They're people like my wife who taught for a couple of years, 3 or 4 years, and then left the system. So for some people, if you stay in it for a long time, you have that option of taking that hybrid plan. And for other people, it strengthens their retirement because they get something more portable and a more generous defined contribution.
Thank you.
Representative Zemke.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Hi, Jarrett. How are you? So I have a quick question. I'm going to ask you the same question I asked the previous speaker. What about if we assume the rate? What do you believe the rate of return has been on the current hybrid plan?
I thought Mr. Randazzo's numbers were pretty good, 6.5%, 7%. Yeah.
Okay, so 6.5%, 7%. We're throwing around some millions of dollars between that 0.5%
Tens of millions,
there.
Yep.
So what if we were to just simply decrease the AROR on all the plans to 6.5% or 7%, depending on how the math works out, offer a competitive DC, provides real retirement option? What do you think about that?
I would agree with that plan. Our problem is not the difference between a defined benefit and defined contribution. It's the ability to restrain legislators from making promises now and putting off paying for it later. So if you can do a defined benefit plan that is a real plan that prevents adding onto that debt for future people, then that would be something we support, and we think the bill moves in that direction.
Thank you very much, Jarrett.
Thank you. We're going to have